On another one, shout out to Forward Chess again for bringing us this series, and we are going over Chess Fundamentals by Jose Raul Capablanca. So this is chapter 2 we're going through. I was saying that I was just going to go through like just one of them, but since we have it here, we can cover the book. We have access to it. They said we can do it. So we're going to go through the book. We got it. Make sure you guys are downloading Forward Chess in the description if you watch it from YouTube, and from Twitch right here in the chat. Make sure you can download Forward Chess. Get the app, right? And then you get the book, which is also linked in there too as well. Here we go. All right, chapter 2, further principles in game play. We shall now go back to the endings in search of a few more principles, then again to the middle game, and finally to the openings once more, so that the advance may not only be gradual but homogeneous. Yeah, I forgot. It's a very weird word. It's very hard to say that word, homogeneous. And this, the way the foundation on which we expect to build the structure will be firm and solid. Why no dark mode? I think there is. There is actually. There is a dark mode because I just got an email about it recently. Do you make an account? You can? Yes. I'm just going to say yes. Just make an account. All right, cardinal principle. Here we go. Boom. And look at this position here. Now, first, before we read the left, I want you to focus on the right. I want you to focus on the right before we read the left. Right, so what's going on here? Now remember, do y'all remember, right? And whose move is it? It's white to move. You can see the little thing down here says white to move. Do you remember from yesterday, right? Who was here yesterday with the analysis when we went through chapter 1? What pawn did it say push first? Right, which pawn did it say push first? The Slim Doc says the B2 pawn, but what pawn did they say? The pawn that is not what? They used a certain word. Who remembers this? They used a certain word. Do you remember? Not being opposed. Slim Doc, look at him. Slim Doc is out here flexing real hard. I'm just letting y'all know. That's exactly right. The one that is not opposed. So B4 should be the first move. Perfect. Let's move to the left side over here and look. Okay, in the position shown above, white can draw by playing B4. According to the general rule that governs, to advance the pawn that is free from opposition. I can't make this up, right? But suppose that white, either because he does not know this principle or because he does not, in this case, sufficiently appreciate the value of his application. Suppose we say that he plays A4. So we can actually do this right here. A4. Then black would play A5. Applying one of the cardinal principles of high strategy chess. A unit holds 2. Oh my goodness. They drop it. We just got started. They dropping gems everywhere. I know this already. But for you, this is amazing. Because this is actually what they call the pawn freeze. Or who calls it that? It's either Sealman, but I think it's Devereski. Shout out to my uncle, Big D, Big Devereski. What's up, big fella? Bruh. Yeah. So Devereski, you need to study that book, by the way. Let me link that real quick. Let me link that actually here and then here. Don't get that book, but that's a fire book. That's a fire book on Endgame. So here, this one pawn stopped 2. The A pawn has stopped your A pawn and the B pawn in one pawn, right? That's what you're talking about, a unit that holds 2. In this case, one pawn would hold 2 of the opponent's pawns. The student cannot lay too much stress on this principle. It can be applied in many ways, and it constitutes one of the principal weapons in the hands of a master. Fire. All right, and they actually do have an example here. A4, A5, King G2, King F4. Okay, B4, A takes B4. A5, we're just going to run through these. B3, push that boy. Queen up, and oh, is this winning? Oh, snap. I mean, this can be. Yeah, this is winning. You just have to zug him out, and then you got to push the right pawn. This becomes crazy. Perfect. And then it says this brings us to a game, to a position which is won by black, and which constitutes one of the classical endings of classic king pawns. Look at this. Boom. We're here. Here it is, chat. I hope you're ready. Here it is. Let's read about it. Okay, in this position, white's best line of defense consists in keeping his pawn where it stands on h2. So look at this from both sides. If you're playing this, you need to know your best defense is keeping the pawn here. If you're playing against this, you need to know that this is his best defense. As soon as the pawn is advanced, it becomes easier for black to win. On the other hand, black's plan to win, always have a plan, supposing that white does not advance the h-pawn, may be divided into 3 parts. A 3-part plan? He talking to y'all right now, and I hope you listening. I hope you listening right now. The first part will be get the king to h3. At the same time, keeping intact the position of the pawns. So write it down. Right. Okay, plan 1, get the king to h3, don't move the pawns. All right, number 2. Okay, what's number 2? What does it say? This is all important since in order to keep win, it is essential. Okay, so he did not say, oh wait, this is important. No, this is all important since in order to win the game, it is essential at the end that black may be able to advance his rear most pawn, whichever one that is, pawn 1 or 2 squares according to the position of the white king. Oh my goodness. This book is amazing. It's crazy, but you have to remember this stuff, which means repetition. Keep going through it. Keep going through it. Saga Sin, absolutely, yes. Minimum, we know each other. That's the homie. That's the homie. Okay, so king g3 happened. And okay, after king g3, there's king to e3. Right. Yeah, right here, Speedy Lion. All right here, my guy. All right here, I got you. This is everything we're following right now. So he kind of boxed him out a little bit. King g2. We're just going to follow it. King f4. King g4. King h4. Boom. First plan completed. Done. Done. Second part will be short and will consist of advancing the king. Okay. King h1. Oh, advancing the h-pawn up to the king. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so advance the h-pawn. Then you advance the g-pawn. g5, g4, g3. Takes. Because you want it to be his move when you get here. If you time it wrong, you're going to push it. He's going to have the opposition, and you're going to push and check him. He's going to go here, and then it's going to be your move. But right now, it's white's move, as you see. He has to step off, and we queen. Amazing. Make sure y'all going through this one a lot. You do have the link to the book. You can go through this by yourself many times. Highly recommend it. Don't play around. Look what it says. It is in this analytical way that the student should try to learn. He will thus train his mind to follow a logical sequence in reasoning out any position. This example is excellent training since it is easy to divide into 3 stages and explain the main point of each part. That guy spitting super facts. Oh, this is beautiful. Who knows this? Who knows this without looking at it? It's white to move, or without reading it on the left. Let me actually move this up. This is white to move. This is classic. You should know this. If you don't know this, you're about to learn today. Let's go. Let's go. What is it? Who knows this? This is white to move. And this is a win for white. Slim Doc says the middle pawn. Luke Master with the follow. Who knows how to win this with white? This right now is an absolute win for white. I had this in Rust today. B6 says Shamballin. Slim Doc says middle pawn as well. Any other choices? Does anyone else? If you don't know, that's fine. You're going to have to learn right now. It's going to be very good. You need to know this, right? Kings are both offset over here, right? Never seen. I would play the king. The king is so far away, right? They talk about the kings, but the kings don't even matter. Well, okay, they do. They don't want to be close in. But here, watch this miraculous thing. First, he hit him with B6 right here, like bam, B6. Like B6 right away. So no matter which way you take, it doesn't matter. In fact, we'll do no matter which way they take. In fact, what did he say? C takes. So, A takes. They have the A takes one. And if C takes B6, so A takes B6 is what happened in the game. But if C takes B6, watch this. C takes B6, boom, you go A6 right there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. After takes, then you push them boys, right? And then if you don't take, okay, cool, you ain't got to take. Oh, actually, you ain't got to take. Here we go back down this line again here. Actually, that's the other line. Let's do it this way. B6, takes, push. If you take this way, then we take this way and queen. There's no way you can stop me. There's no way you can stop me. So after B6, the game is over. on the spot. That's it. So, and if he takes the other way, A takes B6, then you just push the other pawn. You push the other pawn. Then it takes and push pass. Classic. Absolute classic. That's right. Very nice to know. Very nice to know. All right, let's move to the next one. Boom. What does it say? How to find out which pawn will be first to queen. When two pawns are free, or will be free, to advance to queen, you can find out by counting, right? I actually demonstrate this a lot in the streams. Sometimes y'all even see me do this in Puzzle Rush, right? And I'm like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. And we'll count it and I'll know based off counting. This is the method. Which pawn will be first to succeed in this position? Whoever moves wins. First thing to find out by counting whether the opposing king can be in time to stop the passed pawn, wherever that is, from queening. When, as in this case, it cannot be done, the point is to count which pawn comes first. In this case, the time is the same, but the pawn that reaches the 8th square first and becomes a queen is in a position to capture the other one. Basically saying this. White to move, A4, right here on this 8, right here. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Behold. Appreciate it. Right. So A4, after the A4 action, they get hit with H5. Boom. A5, B6. Instead of capturing, you push past, push again, and queen. Boom. One before you. One before you. Definitely pay attention to that. Okay. The student would do well to acquaint himself with various simple endings of this sort so as to acquire the habit of counting and thus be able to know with ease, when he can or cannot get there first. Once again, I must call attention to the fact that a book cannot by itself teach you how to play. A book cannot by itself teach you how to play. Hope you got that. Bruh. Hope you got that. It can only serve as a guide, and the rest must be learned by experience. And if a teacher can be had at the same time, so much faster will the student be able to learn. Opposition, cool, perfect. Some of you already know this, some of you don't, but we're going to read it anyway for people that don't know. When kings have to be moved, and one player can by force bring his king into a position similar to the one shown right here in the diagram, so that his adversary is forced to move and make way for him. The player obtaining the advantage is said to have the opposition. Thank you, Teacher Canty. No problem. No problem. Canty, but does the pawn queen with check as well? Sometimes. If it does, it's good. Right? Suppose in this position, white plays king to d4. Okay? Boom. Now black has the option of either opposing the passage of the king by playing king to d6, or he can pass his own king by playing king f5. Notice that the kings are directly opposed to each other. The number of intervening squares between them is odd. 1 in this case. So you're talking about right here. They talk about this in Deveresky's in-game manual, right? Shout out to Uncle Deveresky, right? The odd is opposition, right? So 2 away, sometimes if they're dancing, kind of like go back. So right here, it depends on whose move it is. But if black moves forward, now you lose it because white just lost opposition and now you literally lose the game. That's why opposition is so important, right? So right here, let's say this was here and you guys are dancing around. Whoever takes the opposition literally wins the game in many cases. So you have to be careful. Opposition is very, 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 very important. Opposition can take forms shown above, which can be actually called, okay, frontal or, yeah. This is close or frontal opposition. Okay, makes sense. This is also like a diagonal or whatever. Another one. Thanks for the 31 months, Quinn. That's nuts. Quinn out here flexing real hard with 31 months. Thanks, bro. All right. This can be actual or close lateral opposition. In practice, they are all one and the same. The kings are always on squares of the same color. There's only one intervening square between the kings, and the player who has moved last has the opposition. Okay, you're going to read all of this. All of this, you're going to read it. You are. You're going to read this. You're going to read all of this. Okay, this one right here. This one, let's see what this one says. The above position, this one we have on the screen, shows to advantage the enormous value. What the heck? This is a very strange word sentence, right? The above position shows to advantage the enormous value of the opposition. Great. Yeah, nice. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Position is very simple, it says. Yeah, it's a weird sentence, bro, but okay. Very little left on the board and position to a beginner probably looks about even. It is not the case, however. Whoever has the move wins this position. Believe it or not. Look at this. Whoever has the move wins. Let's read why. Notice that the kings are directly in front of each other and the number of squares is even. Wasn't I like just talking about this? Look at this. Let's count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares are even. Okay. Now, as the procedure to win such a position, the proper way to begin is move straight up. King e2, king e7, king e3, king e6, king e4, boom. I'm there. I get opposition. You have to step off. King f6, I win. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, this works too. Yeah, but actually, yeah, this is a better way because now you actually make him go away. Actually make him go away. Easy. Things got to follow. Totally not chessy. Yeah, that's true. Behold, yeah, that's true. But this was also, yeah, it's kind of like awkward sentence, but that's okay. Like whatever. We'll take it. We will take it. What is this one? King e2. Opposition. Okay, we got a few left. King e2, king d8. Okay, so they're showing this one. Oh, this one is amazing. So someone tell me, is this white to move? Okay, somebody tell me what is the result of this game right here. Does white win? Does white lose or does white draw? This is really testing your end games right here. I mean, really testing your end games. He says white wins. Just a guess. He said white wins. Garbage. Down a pawn. Down a full pawn in the end game, but I'm going to win it though. I got you, big fella. I got you. White wins. Oh my goodness. Draw. We got draw. We got draw. White winning. How is white winning? What are we looking at right now? Sorry, what? Am I looking at the same position right now? How is white winning this? There is no way. If you ever get your king up here, my king gets to sit back around here. Right? Like if you go this way, for instance, you try this, I get to take the pawn. Right. That's the problem. But in fact, guys, believe it or not, this right here is a draw. I'm down a whole pawn. Black's going forward, and it's a draw. But how do you draw is the question here. How do you draw is the question. Right here, Soul Wax. How do you draw is the question. This is chess fundamentals. How do you draw, bro? King F2 is not it. The only way to draw here is you need to have the odd number of squares. And for you, opposition, correct. You need, look, this is what he says. Look, there's a way to do it. White is a pawn behind and apparently lost, but King H1. Look at this. King H1. Oh my goodness. And it's a draw. It's a draw. The position of pawns does not permit white to draw by means of the actual or close opposition. Hence, he takes the distant opposition. Drop the mic. Distant opposition. So if you step forward E1, guess what? You're done. King G1. King G2? Me too. King G2. King E3? King G3. That's for me. All right. Everything you do, right? I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow you. And it's a draw. Believe it or not. Let's try that again. King H1. Let's see what they have over here in the text. After the King H1 move here. King H1, King D2, right? You wouldn't go King G2 because you're blocking with your whole face. That is not the right opposition. Get the man out of here. Bruh. Not a move. So you actually got to go King H2. Boom. Distant opposition. Again. Mind-blowing. King. So now you're getting the pattern. If King D3, where do you put the king? H3. If he goes King E2, King G2. And it becomes a draw. It becomes a draw. Unbelievable, guys. Clap it up for you, man. I mean, look, Capablanca, he didn't. That man, this is one of the greatest books on the market. I'm telling you, Chess Fundamentals is fire. Very, very good book. It's very, very good book. But you have to read it multiple times for you to really understand this. Blood latte, you funny. You funny. Okay, here we go. The relative value of a knight. So we're on the last three here. 50. We're on page 50, going through 62. All right. For the kid that's our class. Yeah, you can just get it right here and give him this link too, Dr. Shackleton, right here. There you go. Come on, Saga Sin for the win. That's right. All right, here we go. Before turning our attention to this matter, it is well to state now that two knights alone cannot mate. Let me say that again. Okay, before turning our attention to this matter, it's well to state now that two knights alone cannot mate. But under certain conditions, they can do so if the opponent has one or more pawns. Right here. So here it says in the position above, white cannot win, although the black king is cornered. Yes. Wait, what just happened? How did we? I must have clicked some randomly. Okay, all right, we good. So this position right here, knight G. Oh yeah, with the pawn on the board, it actually is different. Which I think I covered this, didn't I? Yeah, I did. This is already on the YouTube channel. We had something similar like this with that crazy European game with the pawn on the board. Oh man, this is just funny. Just showing you that it's possible, and then mate, right? Because the king had to stay in the corner and the pawn had to move. So when you box the king in, you bring the other knight in to deliver mate. It's pretty funny. What about this one? Oh, look at this. Although he is a bishop and a pawn ahead from the following position, this can never be won. So people that don't know this, right? If this is you and you never knew this, this is a draw. White is up a bishop and a pawn and you can't win. It's because the king, you have the wrong color bishop. Imagine if this bishop had be here. Then you would be queenie. But because it's opposite color, it's not. Let's not. Flip the board. Imagine sometimes you have a position where you may be down material and you can sack all the material and get to this position because you'll know that he can't win because he has the wrong color bishop. If you ever hear that, oh, I got the wrong color bishop. That's what they're talking about. This right here. This right here. It is the greatest weakness of a bishop that when the rook's pawn queens on the square of the opposite color. Yeah, we just talked about that. We literally just talked about that. This one's pretty cool, right? White can win this. I'll show you how. King h2, knight g4 check. This is a classic one. King f1, g5, king f2. So you box the pawns in, and then you move the knight around until he mates. Look at that. Beautiful. Like beautiful. That's a funny one. That's a funny one. All right. Here we go. What does this say? Okay, so what does this say? All right. It is generally thought by amateurs that the knight is more valuable piece of the two. Wow, did y'all hear that? Bruh. It is generally thought by amateurs that the knight is the more valuable piece of the two. The chief reason being that, unlike the bishop, the knight can command both black and white squares. However, the fact is generally overlooked that the knight at only one time has the choice of one color only. It just makes it takes much longer to bring the knight from one wing to the other. Okay, all right. So they just showing that the bishop's still mating the knight. Knight can't go anywhere. Cool. All right, definitely read that yourself on that. Okay, you're gonna do this. You that you're watching, are gonna do this because you have the app. You should have the app at this point. You should have the book as well. So you're going to go through all of this. We're not about to read all of this. We are not about to read all of this right now. I do want to fast forward though. And look at this though. This is like so sweet, bro. This is amazing. I mean, let's actually read a few, like the first one at least. This is sweet. Look at this. I mean, this is amazing. So, in the following position, the pawns are on one side of the board, and there is no advantage in having either a knight or a bishop. The game should surely end in a draw. What? How many of y'all knew this? How many of you knew this? This is nuts. This is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, Thanksgiving, Canty. Hope you're doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Let's read the next one. Look at this. I mean, it's golden, right? Let's add 3 pawns to each side to the above position, right? So that there are pawns on both sides of the board. It is now preferable to have a bishop, though the position, if properly played out, should end in a draw, because the bishop can go to both. Let's look at this one. In this position, it's unquestionably an advantage to have the bishop because although each player has the same number of pawns, They are not balanced on each side of the board. Thus, on the king side, white has 3 on 2, and queen side is black has 3 on 2. Still, with proper play, game should be a draw. White better chances. This one is a position bishop is decided advantage, since not only are there pawns on both sides, but there's a pass h pawn. So white's just winning this one. This one, again, black would have greater difficulty drawing. Wow. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Wait, mate with a knight and a bishop. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go, big fella. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Why is this in here? Why did he put this in here? In this example, we must mate on A1 or H8. Why? Because you have a dark squared bishop. The ending can be divided into 2 parts. Part 1 consisting into driving the black king to the last line. Right? Dang near impossible. You about to learn today. Watch this. Watch this. Right? I mean, we need like a separate video on just how to mate with the knight and the bishop. We might begin as a general done. Okay, by advancing the king. So, right. So, advance the king. Okay. Advance the king up. Get some little opposition. Bishop f4, cut the board off. Oh, he really was, Sandballer. I mean, this man went off. Knight e2, king c5. King c3, king b4. Right? So, what we're doing here is we're cutting off the board, though. King a5, look at him cutting off the board. Not letting him get, to the light squares. We want to stop him from getting this way. So, when a king moves, what do you probably do? Bishop to a7. You could play here too as well. King c6. So bishop a7 is a move as well. That you do a lot. Oh, wait, he's stopping king b7. So, yeah, this was necessary. This is kind of annoying because now he's gotten here. But we'll get him out of the corner. Check. Now, yeah, here we go. Now he's going to start it. This is the technique right here that is like really good to know. Starting with the bishop to a7. I mean, bishop b8. Sorry, I keep saying a7. Bishop b8. And then king a5. And knight around. Let me see what he says. The second part and last part will consist of driving. Okay, we already said that. We went through that. Which I haven't mastered. Yeah. That stuff ain't easy. Like, that's not the easiest. This is tricky. It's tricky. Tricky. Knight around. Man, this is so tricky. King here, you could bring the bishop here now. Could go check. King a4. And then I think it's knight around. Or bishop en. Let's see what he played. Yeah, knight around. Yep. It's a method. And he brought the bishop up a little bit. Brought the knight around. Bring the king in. You see how he keeps doing the same thing. Pattern, 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 pattern. Bishop in, knight around. And then finally, it's just checkmate. Oh, wait, look at that. Checkmate. Now, of course, you're going to do this a lot slower. In your book, when you're going through this, you have the link. All right, but it's good to know. Okay, let's see what this says. It will be seen that the ending is rather laborious. There are 2 outstanding features, the close following by the king and the controlling of the squares of opposite color to the bishop by the combined action of the knight and the king. Thanks, T. Barton. I appreciate you, bro. Sound like he just said a whole lot that could be very, very easily simplified, but I'm not about to read that again. So I'm about to just keep going. Okay. Okay, do you think he's going to win? Magnus. Definitely Magnus. The student would do well to exercise himself methodically in this ending, as it gives a very good idea of the actual power of the pieces and requires foresight in order to accomplish the mate within 50 moves, which are granted by the rules. Yeah. Queen against a rook. Oh, this is sweet. And then we'll be ending, I think, here. This will be the last chapter here. This is one of the most difficult endings without pawns. The resources of the defense are many. And when used skillfully, only a very good player will prevail within the limit of 50 moves allowed by the rules. The rule is that at any moment, you may demand that your opponent mate you within 50 moves. However, every time a piece is exchanged or a pawn advanced, the count begins afresh. Yes, that is true. Here we go. Okay, queen and rook. This is dumb hard. All right, this is a standard position. Let's see, it says white's move. If it were black's move, it would be simple, as he would have to move his rook away. Okay, whatever. All right, bro. Let's just get it done. Queen a6 is not good because of rook c7. And then they say you have here, and then rook c6, and after king takes, stalemate. So you have to learn that there's stalemate tricks available if you fall for that. So he goes queen e5 check, queen a8. I mean king a8. It's a lot of maneuvering. Queen a1, king b8, queen a5. A little bit of zugzwang. So you have to make him move the rook. And then once he moves the rook, we have to try to find a way to check him that we can, you know, pick off the rook. That's what we're looking for a lot of times. Check again. Right. And then check again. Check again. There it is. Right. But he's not picking it off. But if he goes rook b8, there's queen a2, which he does, and queen a2 mate. Again, you're going to go through this again by yourself to do this. I've done this before. This one's definitely hard. Definitely hard. Definitely hard. Why are these master level positions? This is not master level, actually, killer 820. I mean, it is. It can be. People mess this up, but this is like, it's fundamentals. Like, they even start, and make sure you go watch Killer 820. Make sure you go watch the first video. You'll see how basic it actually is, and it just goes up every time you look at something else. Cool. So these are talking about the queen and rook ones, guys. So make sure you guys are going through this. Let me read this last note here, and then we'll be done. But I want you guys to go through this on your own here. We just kind of covering it, seeing what's in it, and stuff like that. So, okay. All right, here we go. So last part says, note in these examples that the checks at long range along the diagonals have often been the key to all the winning maneuvers. Also that the queen and king are often kept on different lines. The student should carefully go over these positions. That's you. Carefully go over these positions. Use your forward chess. Make sure you got the book in there. And consider all the possibilities not giving in the text. He should once more go through everything already written before proceeding further with a book. All right, perfect. That's chapter 2. Boom. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. You're a student too, Canty. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I am going to use this. I'm going to continue to use this in my own time. Read this again along with my other books I got here in forward chess as well. So I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Make sure you guys are using it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. This is chapter 2. Chapter 3 will be most likely tomorrow. So I'll see you guys on the next video.